That was pretty good. Liberty was good. We'd go any place we wanted. Well, then President Roosevelt decided he's going to put the fleet 2,000 miles closer to what he thought would be the enemy, which was Japan. And so he moved the fleet out there in Pearl in 1940 and 41. And of course, that included those old slow battleships that probably took them 10 days to get out to Pearl. They only go 12, 14 knots. They were not speedy. And so when they come out there, that meant we had 70,000 sailors. Well, with 70,000 sailors in Honolulu, Liberty was no good then. You had, they would give them Liberty from 10 to 4, something like that. And then they had a lot of houses of prostitution there, so that's where most of them headed. You didn't have time to go around the island or anything like that. Of course, I didn't belong to that group. I had, in the outfit I was in, I had every night, overnight Liberty. So that was one advantage in being in the flag administrative group.
So can I ask you a question? Can you kind of clarify for me, what did you actually do in the flag administrative group? What was your actual job, your duties?
Oh, supply.
Supplies, okay.
Well, after the war started, I was getting to pick up and go to town to buy stuff. That, aviation was new. We didn't have all this, everything down to the cotter pins and safety wire and wiping cloths and all that. We didn't have a damn thing, really. And we'd have to get it contracted from the aircraft makers. And so that's a chain of command. Then it finally gets into a warehouse here in the States, and then finally we get it out there, But it has to make all this regulations and everything. So my job most of the time was trying to cut that damn red tape, if I could, and I was doing a good job of it. But
tell us about that. Just any little story at all.
Yeah.
What?
About cutting the red tape.
Any little story about, yeah.
Any story you have about cutting the red tape?
Well, I haven't got up to the attack jersey. Maybe you didn't want me to.
Up to the what?
To the Pearl Harbor attack.
Yeah, you can go back. Yeah, you can go back.
Huh?
You can go back to where you were. Yeah.
Well, you want to quit for today?
No. You keep talking. No, I mean you can start where you were and go forward.
Well, let me see. I was in Pearl Harbor. Liberty was not bad. It was really crowded. I mean, really crowded. You just couldn't put 70,000 extra sailors out there in Honolulu and expect it not to be crowded. So, of course, while I'm there, we would go different islands or something sometimes, and so I got to see a lot of places. But I was glad to get out of there.
Carl, real quickly, tell us about a few of your favorite places in Hawaii before the war. Where would you go have a picnic, or just any?
Well,
I think any place you like.
I only had one favorite place, and that was eat, and that was Lousy Chow's, but it was actually Laui Chai.
Oh, Lousy Chow's was your
Huh?
Lousy Chow's was your name.
You knew where that was. You was out there. Laui Chai's right next to the marina and the yacht club and everything. It was a nice restaurant. And the sailors, we used to like to go over there because we could get some good fruit cocktails. And so we would go over there for that. And so then the other thing we would do, we would go over and lay on a beach at Waikiki Beach when there was having that program, Hawaii Called, I think it was. Hawaii Called. Seems like it was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon our time. A lot of people saw it. They had a little bandstand on the beach out there by the Royal Hawaiian Hotel. And I'm trying to think, it wasn't Lawrence Welk, but who the guy was that played? He played there every Sunday afternoon. And I know my mother used to see it. Well, we'd see in the afternoon, they'd see in the morning. There was 2.5 hours difference in time at that time. And, of course, there's always the swimming or the surfing or something. Most of us didn't surf, we just swam. When the war started, I went over to the yacht basins and picked off their binoculars, and then I had to go a second time pick off their radios. Halsey wired in, he wanted some short-term radios. You know, the place you're going to get them short limit is at the yacht harbor, and that's the only place you was going to find any binoculars. And we just suddenly, you know, we didn't have a lot when the war started. I saw all the shortages because I was out in the front line. So I signed my name for an awful lot of binoculars and radios and stuff. And then, of course, the government, you know, actually I give them a coupon or something, they could get them replaced. And
So are you ready to talk about December 7th?
What?
December 7th now? The Pearl Harbor attack.
Or the lead up before the war,
lead up, yeah.
did you suspect, were you guys prepared for the Japanese your group? Or can you tell him that, can you ask him a little louder?
So were you expecting anything to happen?
No. Well, yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, it's like we all see now, you know. You get the newspaper and the radio or TV, and you hear this or that. And it keeps going on every day, same old thing, same old. And so that's all we expected. So we were very surprised that they got in. But that's one reason is because we couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it. There was 3 different times that they could have, if they'd have worked on it right now, we would have known ahead of time. One is when they caught that guy, somebody trying to sneak in with a towing target. That was one, and the destroyer sunk him at 5 o'clock in the morning, and he passed the word, but they didn't do anything on the beach. Then the next one was, when they were trying out radar, and they saw all these planes. It looked like a whole swarm of bees, and that was reported. They didn't do a damn thing. They said that's a flight of B-17s coming in, because there was a flight coming in, but there was only 10 or 12 planes, not a whole flock of them, and so.
Right.
And I think they were coming in for a little bit different direction, but they didn't decipher that and put any warnings out. That's 2, and I think there was a third one too.
Roosevelt.
Oh, yeah. The dispatch from Washington, D.C. was sent out regular mail. So you're not going to get that time to warn us. If we'd only had 10 minutes, 15 at the most, it'd have been a different story at Pearl Harbor. You see, this was Sunday morning, and the guns were locked up. You don't want them laying around the decks or anything. And the ammunition was locked up. So until they could get somebody with keys to open up the ammo lockers, they couldn't get any ammunition. So these are things that would happen to anywhere or anyone at any time under the same situation. Because I'm sure the captain didn't want the ammunition boxes unlocked, just everybody walk in and help themselves. And he didn't want the guns out where they could shoot each other too. The sailors get mad at each other at times.
Well, like you say, just imagine 10 minutes, If everyone just would have done the same thing they did when the attack actually happened, give us 10 minutes, every gun on every battleship, every gun at Fort Island, all those aircraft, all those guns would have been pointed skyward, right? And that's a whole different fight.
Oh, 10 minutes is a long time.
Yeah.
Really is. You sometimes just took a watch and figure out 10 minutes. And just watch it. Just sit and watch the damn thing take off. It's a long time. You can do a lot of things in 10 minutes.
So can you tell us what happened to you that morning?
Huh?
So what happened to you that morning?
Oh, the Enterprise was my ship. And I was, like I told you, dispatched to set up supply dump in Fort Island. So Halsey was coming in. He was going to be in on Saturday. But he wired in and said, I won't be in until Monday or Sunday, around 8 o'clock, 0800. So I think the Japanese must have knew that because they struck at 5 minutes to 8. And they hit the dock where a ship was, but it wasn't the carrier. And they could refuel from that dock, so this other ship was refueling from there. And so that, so,
Sure, Carl. Yeah.
oh, Halsey had to slow down because he had a bunch of fast little destroyers with him, but they were not going to have enough fuel to make Pearl. The whole thing was rough seas was holding them up. And, he could plow right on through with the Enterprise, no problem at 30 knots, but the tin cans couldn't. And so he had to slow down and save his little destroyers, which he did. And so then he could have come in that way. He'd already sent some airplanes in. The airplanes that he had sent in, not generally known, but they got involved. Some of those scouting planes got involved with the Japanese fleet. But they didn't do anything. We had one dispatch says, hold it, I'm an American. But the Japanese didn't hold it. They went right ahead and shot him down. And so we know that this one guy, definitely they got tangled up with him, was shot down by the Japanese. But of course, he didn't know there was any war going on either. But Halsey made all the planes and everything arm themselves, keep fueled up and everything. The minute he left Pearl Harbor, which was the day after Thanksgiving, he left Pearl Harbor for Wake Island with a bunch of Marine fighter planes. And he took those out to Wake Island. And then he was coming back from Wake Island. The Lexington, which was another carrier, but it was under his command, he took planes out to Midway. It did. Marine fighter planes. Of course, those planes all got destroyed because the Japanese, when they come in, they had so many planes that I think I heard one guy say, they blew through us like we didn't even exist. Well, there were about 300 planes in that Japanese outfit.
Where he was.
6 aircraft carriers.
So